Got some exciting things in store. Has been a super busy week for us. And this Discord server has absolutely grown like crazy, especially with the product hunt, which we'll get into. But there's Jordan.
Hello. How's everyone doing? We are just getting started here. We're going to give everyone a little bit of time to join in, and yeah, we should be getting started here in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Just take a second, say hello in the chat. Great to have everyone. Welcome in, and we'll be back soon.
Hey Cheve, hey Sophia. See James in the audience too. There's Sophia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're still waiting for people to kind of funnel in here, so we'll be getting started very, very soon. But great to see everybody. Awesome, awesome, awesome. See a few friendly faces in the audience. How's everybody doing? Hey, Sophia. And Rohan, I see your request. We will get to our community, just talking with people further in. But for now, we'll just keep the kind of open source team up here. But yes, we will absolutely get some community members on stage throughout the call. And so you can just keep your request up there, so you'll be top of the queue.
Hey everyone.
Hey Cheve.
Excited. Yep. Good to see such a huge increase in the number of folks who are joining in from the previous meetup. So
Absolutely.
super excited.
Yeah, it's nice to see that for sure. I forget what the view count was on our first one. Actually, I can probably pull it up.
All right.
That should be 12 or 13.
NVM. Oh, Cheve, I love the background. That's really nice.
Okay.
All right, hey everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. Just wanted to say hey, just quickly. Just wanted to kind of say hello from the team. For some of the new people joining, just wanted to kind of introduce everyone. We're not going to go into full introductions, but we just want to say hey. Feel free to check out the other meetup that we've shared. First one, you can kind of see some more information about some of our backgrounds and things, and always feel free to reach out in the Discord. But yeah, Sophia or Mason or Cheve, anyone want to kick it off and kind of just say hey?
Yeah, sure. I'll start it off. Hey everybody, my name is Mason. You probably see me around the Discord. I'm working at Pieces for about a year now. Surprisingly, time's flown by, but I work primarily just in the community, talking to users. Sometimes I'll be in product and growth as well, but big on community, and really excited to be here. And then I'll pass it to Sophia. maybe. Or maybe Chevy, we go to you.
Yeah, Shiva,
Okay.
you want to hop in?
Yeah. Sure. So welcome everyone. Good to see such a huge number of folks joining in. I know like a lot of folks are in India as well, similar to me, but it's great to see the enthusiasm at even like 10:30 p.m. But yeah, so I'm Shvai. I kind of also run a lot of the developer relations and a lot of the open source initiatives, and looking forward to working with all of you in really building a great ecosystem for open source. So yeah, super excited to connect with all of you.
Awesome. Thanks, Shiva. Sophia, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Sophia. I'm very sure that you've been seeing my engagement on Discord. I currently manage the open source Discord community, and I work as a DevRel intern at Pieces.
Thanks, Sophia. And yeah, I'm Jordan. I'm head of open source here, just kind of helping facilitate getting some of our internal SDKs out and just assisting the team, and honestly here for all of you and here to help support you guys in your development journeys, help you build projects and products that you guys are looking to create, and come alongside us and build new things too. So let's go ahead and kind of jump in. Before we get too deep, I wanted to see if there's anyone out there that wanted to share a little bit about themselves, say hey, maybe 2 or 3 people. Just want to see if somebody wanted to volunteer, see if we can get someone to say hi from the community. If not, that's totally fine. We can move on, but I just want to see if there was anyone out there that was just really feeling the itch to say hey, even if it's 10:30 at night. Who's going to do it? I know someone's out there. No, it's cool. We're all developers. All right. Well, let's just get past that. We'll do introductions. I know a lot of people have been sharing introductions inside of the community chat, so please do that as well. We love that. It's great to actually hear more about from the things you guys are working on and the things you guys are passionate about and who you are. So yeah, please share that, and yeah, let's keep it moving. So we're going to get right into a lot of updates. We've had a lot of things going on over the past 2 weeks. We've been working through a number of updates here at Pieces, kind of core, our internal. We've been going through a lot of updates for our generated runtime. So now there's a new version of the npm package that's out that you can find it at the same location as always, but it's the 1.2.0 version. So go check that out. There should be a link inside of I think announcements in the open source thread. If you guys want to go check that out, go give it a download. Make sure you update your packages if you're building on top of Pieces OS. There's a couple new things inside of there that'll hopefully assist you if you've been command clicking or control clicking into these API calls and reading through some of the documentation that's kind of found inside of them. You can see some of the spec there, and you'll see that there's a new code text segmentation endpoint where you can actually pass in code and text, and it'll segment it out into 2 separate parts. And there's a couple other things for the status code on QGPT, and some other things around QGPT that you'll see that if you use the desktop app, you'll see a lot more of, but you can test these things out with the endpoints inside of the example TS project too. So that's updated now. It's now using the most up-to-date Pieces OS version. So don't forget to update Pieces OS when you're back on your local machine, and you should be good to go with really no changes to your npm project. And then the other updates, just kind of in the example TS project realm. Some of you have seen, if you've pulled down the new version, that we've got a new UI up for the assets and Copilot and for the assets up top. So now it's laid out in that grid view, so you guys can read through in that way and see 3 snippets at a time. We're going to add some more issues around creating UI updates for these and adding more metadata to them, so you can see some of the elevated metadata that's coming through after you create, right? Because you're going to create and generate different snippets, and we're going to attach a lot of metadata with the models and things that we have internally inside of Pieces OS, and then you can consume those in a pretty interesting way. So Caleb will kind of hit on how the streaming of the QGPT and Copilot works in a little bit, but from there, there's a lot more exploration you can do just by command and control clicking into a lot of these endpoints. So just want to keep iterating that throughout this call to encourage exploration, and hopefully we'll have some more issues soon around testing and finding good opportunities to see how these endpoints work, even if you're not sure in the community. Cool. So I'm just going to pass it over to Mason. He's going to hit you guys with some updates just kind of around pieces in general. I know a lot of you have seen some of these, but we just wanted to say, in case you didn't, that we've got some other things that have come out, coming out, and coming up. So Mason, if you want to share, that'd be great.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm actually going to start out with the poll. And so we're going to do essentially just your primary coding language. I'm going to send it right now. It should be in the chat. And so this is just us kind of gauging where we want to kind of take this community in general, but also just getting, what your favorite language is. So feel free to fill that out. Super easy. Just click the little letter that kind of coincides with your language. But while y'all are filling that out, I think that it's up for like 15 minutes or something like that. But while that's going on, I'll go through some of the recent updates, kind of the past 2 weeks for us. And I'm actually going to post some links in the chat as well with it. So one of the big things that we've been pushing is this kind of BYOM, build your own model. And we actually have a blog that we just released, which is in the chat. And it's kind of all encompassing around this general idea of really being able to go horizontal with our models and not just being really like tied down to, let's say, OpenAI, GPT 3.5 or GPT 4. We can kind of stretch out into more open source models like Llama 2. Llama 2 is kind of open source, but especially Mistral, which is a brand new release that is entirely open source. There's going to be a lot of great products that are built on that. And they actually have an Apache 2.0 license. So you can do anything with that Mistral model, which is going to be really, really exciting. And then we also just released earlier this week updates to our desktop app and Pieces OS. So make sure to go and get those. And one really exciting update is that you can now use your own OpenAI API key inside the desktop app. And so it's as simple as when you go to select a cloud model, you'll see a little manage your OpenAI API key. Click that, paste your key in, and then you will be using your kind of account rather than kind of going through us. You'll have everything going through there. And we have some really exciting things queued up, especially around being able to use your own fine-tuned models that you have on the OpenAI platform. And so that'll be coming in the new year, which is super exciting. That'll probably change kind of everything, being able to bring models in, especially with enterprises, larger companies, being able to bring models in that you have already fine-tuned and then plug that into the entire Pieces ecosystem. That's going to blow a lot of people's minds. I'm pretty positive about it.
For sure.
So yeah, the next thing, we had a awesome Twitter space, which I'm going to post in the chat. And that was last Sunday, and hosted by Chevet. A few others were involved as well. And it was awesome. We got to talk about, just developer productivity, AI, machine learning. So definitely go and check that out if you haven't. It's an awesome listen, about an hour long. And we hope to do actually more of those. So let us know what you thought about it, what you would like to see in the future. And we'd love to have more people involved with that as well from our community, contributing there. So the next thing was also a kind of quick live stream that we had Tuesday, so yesterday. And this was with our co-founder and CEO, Savo, our co-founder and Chief Product Officer, Mac, and our Chief Technical Officer, Mark, as well. And Kunal hosted it. Yes, it was awesome. You should absolutely go watch that as well. We have a lot of content. I feel like we always have content coming out, but definitely go and watch that. It's all about just maximizing developer productivity in AI, through even like separate from Pieces, just how you can utilize AI to your benefit. And so I even saw like a message really early on. I forget who sent it. But it was simply about like, I'm excited for what I can learn in this live stream that is a great talk to go after, of course, after this. And you can go and listen to all of that awesome content. And then, of course, one of the biggest things that we've done in the past, while we had an awesome product hunt launch yesterday. We actually ended up number 2 in the day, and I think we're like number 5 or 6 of the week, which is awesome. I think we're just about to pass that 500 upvote mark, and the support was awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better on that. You guys really showed up. Yeah, round of applause to you. And couldn't do it without it. And of course, our growth team, I see Cole in the chat. He's been absolutely like working his tail off for the past, ever since he's been here. But definitely pulling off a miracle on that one. That was awesome. And that's kind of wrapping it up there. So yeah, product hunt, we really have gone heavy the past, this last quarter on our Copilot. I think it absolutely shows. And we even have some awesome updates coming in all of our plugins today, maybe later this week as well. So be on the lookout for that. It'll also be all over our social medias and in our product updates channel here as well. And I think that is all that I have. So I'll throw it back to Jordan.
Perfect, Mason. Nailed it. Thank you so much for sharing those updates, just kind of from all the other things that have been going on. Yeah, feel free to check those out, guys. Great resources in there, great links to other resources. And also, if you just have questions about the things that are going on in those articles, drop it in Discord. Let's start a conversation. Let's talk more about it. And let's get to the bottom of some of these things that are going on and why the decisions are being made. Let's have that conversation in public. So kind of going forward from there, I just wanted to touch on something really quick that kind of Mason brought up. And I wanted to kind of draw the parallel between the example SDK and Pieces for Developers. So just really quick to kind of assist with people as we're talking about things and learning about things. So you can think about the example project as Pieces Desktop, the Pieces Desktop app, not in quality, because obviously Mac has worked really hard and done a great job on PFD. But in terms of the functionality, anything that you see inside of Pieces for Developers, there is some way to perform that same action on some level inside of the example project utilizing the Pieces API. So if you see or are wondering if you can do something and the docs currently aren't available for it and you would like to build on top of the client, go and use Pieces for Developers for a little bit and see the different functionality and the different actions that you can perform there and how you could abstract out potentially one of those into something that you use. And then you could build on top of that with the API. Anyways, moving past that, I just wanted to kind of bring that up. So let's get into some shoutouts for this week and kind of talk about all of the different PRs and issues and all the things that you guys have been accomplishing inside of the open source project so far, this example repo, and around some of the other things like the Kotlin SDK. And let's get into it. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. Here we go. Apologies for however many thousands of windows I have open. All right. I'm on my laptop today too, so I've got a little bit smaller screen. So if I'm zoomed out, I'm going to zoom in. All right. So we're going to go over here to, we're going to get on the repo here. So I just want to talk about this update here first. We've got this update. This took place last week. We just needed to get this in. I know that some people were having issues building. This could have been coming from this TypeScript dependency issue in your dev environments. So if you haven't, be sure to pull in the updates from last week and make sure that you get this solved. Just wanted to shout out Dara Johnson on this one. This was a good find on getting this initially implemented into our package.json. But now getting this updated and making sure that all of our types are aligned is great. And I just want to remind everyone, just be sure to test one last time before you submit that final PR, because sometimes you just miss something. And clearing out your NPM packages is a huge help here as well too. So let's go on to some other work. So I know that others have seen this inside of the Discord channel around Pythonistical's update. We had not a new UI pushed from this PR. It was a little bit old, and so this conversation has been going on for a while here. I know that some of you have seen this UI. Python School, I just want to say, first off, thank you so much for all your work here. You really started a huge push towards actually implementing CSS styling and thinking about how we're going to lay out this super simple UI in a way that people can replicate and expand upon. So those updates have been abstracted. We've had that conversation inside of a thread on Discord. You can find that inside of our community chat and kind of follow that there. But some of the new updates around this that we'll share more later is going to be in regards to the new Copilot example. So Caleb's going to talk about that later in the chat, and I'm going to talk about that too. I just wanted to tease a little bit here. Going forward, let's look at some of this button functionality from Agrim. So this is a big one here. We're actually starting to utilize the endpoint to tap on and launch Pieces OS from that button inside of your example project. And this is cool functionality that you can pull into lots of different locations to call Pieces OS and boot it so that you can start to interpretate snapshots, so you can start to pull in information from Pieces OS running on your computer. And a lot of the times, especially inside of the example project, if it is not running, you may encounter an error. I tried to add in a little bit of error handling around this on a previous PR, and you can find that at the bottom of the app.tsx file. But if you're still having issues, I would look into this issue, and if you have some time, see if you haven't pulled this into your branch yet. Hopefully we'll be getting this up on main later today, and then the update should be available for everyone. But huge shout out
That's
to
the reason I kind of just added. I'm not sure if Agram is there right now in the call, because when I tried out running this particular issue, I think since we already discussed that there's a separate issue open that if Pieces OS is not connected, then it just throws that React error when you try to run it, TypeScript error. And if that can also be managed inside of this PR, then at least we'll not face any issues when opening the when Pieces OS is not connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just adding a little bit of additional to the logic right there will be all we need. Like, I think maybe we just need to wrap in an additional try catch, and maybe we can add in some logic to handle that. But it shouldn't be anything too intense. So I think I started to implement this on the Copilot example that I'm going to push out later today, because I was starting to have some issues as I was re-rendering. So I want to make sure that that's in there for people starting to use that at the end of the day. So, but good call out there, Shive. Thanks.
And Jordan,
So Adrian, we'll keep working and talking with you on this one throughout the day, but just wanted to shout out the work here. And then we've got a couple other things around the update README. So I'm going to be working on getting some updates into our open source README, but I want to go to this issue from Rohan really quickly.
Hey Jordan, could you zoom in just a little bit?
Absolutely, I would love to. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen.
It always happens.
It always happens. I've got my font on one pixel. So Rohan in here. So I wanted to talk about this. Getting this added is great, but we want to actually start getting some tests created here. So that's one thing that I left some notes on here, I believe. But I want to start getting some tests. So Rohan, we can talk more about this later today about potentially creating a simple test to see if your connection is available if you're running Pieces OS, or something very low level so that we can start to explore what other tests are going to look like. And from some conversations with Mark recently, it seems like there's a good potential that some of these tests are already created potentially, or sorry, I said potentially a lot there. There's these tests are created somewhere already, and we may be able to convert them just locally here so that they can be run inside of the TypeScript environment. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, just want to share some of that. And let's see, we've got one more from Agrim here, but we're going to wait until we get through some of these other issues before we move on to another one. So moving past those updates on the issues, and everyone please just continue working on these issues here. This has been great. I mean, look at you guys. This is insane. We're going to go through and get a lot of these comments responded to throughout the rest of the day and get any open PRs merged so that we can support any updates that are coming before the break. All right, so moving on, I want to talk about another topic that we just got finished, and this is a huge shout out to Jeremiah. Hikikomori Pact, if I believe that's his name in Discord. But we actually have the Kotlin SDK up. I need to make sure that these are checked off. But this is up on Maven Central. So we got the go-ahead from Sonatype. So you can see this here. Sorry, this is also very tiny. I'm waiting for some information from them still, but this was created last night. We're supported and good to go. We're just waiting to see. It said that it should publish on its own here, depending on your build. And so we'll see if that publishes today, and then we'll be able to share out like where that actual location is. If you need this in the short term, feel free to hop over to the example, or not the example, the Pieces OS client SDK for Kotlin. Boom. Same as the TypeScript repo, but just Kotlin at the end there. So that should be fully configured and ready to go, outputting jar files for anyone that wants to use that inside of their Java projects. So that should be great. I'm going to hop back over here to the Discord really quick, check on everyone. How's everyone doing? How's this poll going?
Yeah, I was just about to check on it as well, if I can find it.
Oh,
Okay.
here it is.
Yeah, the poll looks good. It actually ends in 1 minute.
Oh, look at
Or
that timing.
less than that. Yep.
I also want to say that I can't believe no one is C++.
There you
and
go.
no one's Rust.
I know.
Down a
Wow.
little bit.
And no Dart.
But it's okay.
Gotta get some darters in here.
We need some darters too, but we'll just have to get the Dart SDK out to do that.
Mac, where
All
you
right.
at? Where you at, Dart?
Yeah, where you at, Dart? All right, cool. So yeah, we've got the sorry, just to recap back on that, we've got the Kotlin SDK out now. So reach out about anything there. And then on top of that, we've got the updates to the README. We'll start to populate inside of that GitHub repo itself. We'll share that out as well too. We're going to add some examples in Kotlin. I'm gonna work with Hikikomori Pact on that, and we'll see when we can get those to you. We're going to be doing a lot of like updating and things out over the next couple weeks, so just keep an eye out per always. Sophia, I just wanted to kind of tap on you. Sophia's been working on creating a lot of good first issues throughout the week and this past week, and kind of coming up with ideas around our different repos where people can come in and contribute. So I just wanted to let her come up here and kind of talk about those good first issues, kind of show you some of them, and just where those are. And again, we'll always have links from the pieces-app/open source repo to navigate to these other locations so that you can find everything. So expect those updates today. But Sophia?
Yeah, hello. Can anyone hear me?
You're good to go.
Right. Let me share my screen. And can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So I just want to talk a bit more about our good first issue. So I know a lot of us here, we are new, like we just joined the space. So here are some good first issues that you can pick up. And for people that are new to Git or GitHub, a great way for you
Oh,
to
so Sophia, oh,
check
never mind. I'm sorry, never mind. Hold on, sorry. Some people are saying they can't see your screen.
Yeah, Jordan, do you want to just pull up the first issues and then you can kind of scroll through and she can talk?
Absolutely. Here, Sophia, you want to stop sharing your screen?
Sure.
Yeah, I had both of my computers up and one could and one couldn't, but that's okay. So I think it was a mixed crowd. Awesome.
Okay.
There we go.
Let's go here, and then let me go here. And just really quickly too, I'm going to show a great way to navigate this. So one thing, just really quickly before Sophia jumps back in, I would recommend this repo as like your lowest level like source of truth and a great place to start when you're coming in to work on something. And we're going to continue to add more things here, but you can see all these links down here to individual locations. We're going to add our developer docs here. I know we reviewed these last week, but I just wanted to bring this back up. you can see both of the SDKs here and actually navigate to all of these issues. So if you go to issues here, you can click into the example TS project issues, which is here, and then boom, you're right back where Sophia just left off. So Sophia, if you want to go ahead, I'll try and follow along with you.
All right. Okay, so these are the good first issues that we can contribute to. So this is a starter repo. It's an example project based off the TypeScript SDK. So for people new to Git or GitHub, you can easily just Jordan go over to label. No, not that one.
Oh, I clicked too far here.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So you can click on good first issues, and every open issue that is good first, you will be able to see them. And for you to take up an issue, you just have to click it and you tag Jordan to get assigned the issue. No,
Yeah, you can just
not
tag
that on the
me.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just tag me down here. Sorry, I forgot about that. You'll notice that when you come in here, we're working on figuring out why this is, but you can't actually modify data over here. So don't worry about not being able to fill out these fields. These should already be pre-populated.
Yeah.
Just tag me or one of the maintainers here, and we will get you added as an assignee and any of the resources that you need for your specific issue.
Yeah. So another thing is when you are assigned a task, when you are assigned a task or an issue, and we don't hear back from you within 3 days, we would include a label called pending reassignment. So this is to show that the issue is up for grabs, and if we don't hear back from you, someone else can take that up.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on that too, Sophia.
We
This
have
is
a chance
also
or a shot for taking that. All right.
yeah, sorry, really quickly, Sophia, I just wanted to touch on that. The pending reassignment as well too. Note that this isn't that you need to necessarily commit to the repo every 3 days, or that you need to actively be, pushing it across the finish line every single second of every day. All this is to make sure that we're staying in contact throughout your process. So while you're building, while you're working, sharing updates, even just a message saying that you're not going to have an update for another 3 days or 5 days or however long, knowing that we have those checkpoints and endpoints in mind for when you're planning on getting to the next part is really what we're looking for here with the pending reassignment label. Awesome. Sophia, did you have anything else that you wanted to share around good first issues?
Yeah. No. That's all.
Awesome.
But I
Awesome.
just wanted to kind of just quickly also highlight over here that as you're kind of exploring the SDK or even the example project, you can also create your own issues if you find any issues in the project itself. So of course, like these are meant for new beginners to just get started with the project and get assigned to one of the projects, one of the issues. So but you can also file your own issues as well if you face any issues while running the project, or you feel that one of these particular features in the project can be implemented or can be improved. So you can log in and create a new issue.
Thanks, Gervais. That's very true and a good point. And always feel free to open up issues, even if you're not sure if you should open an issue. Open that issue, we'll respond, we'll talk about it, we'll get you what you need to either fix the issue or we'll push some changes to make sure that you're good to go. Either way, we just want to make sure that you guys have the ability to create these issues as well too. Thanks, Gervais. That's awesome. All right, so let's keep moving forward here. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. We went through all those issues and just talking about a lot of the different things that are going on, how to contribute. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are all up to date. So now we're going to kind of jump into a lot of the new content that's been coming out, the new experiences, the new UI of the app, which is hopefully lightweight enough for everyone to be able to continue navigating and really being able to understand the usage of the endpoints. So that update took place last week, like I brought up earlier, It has a couple new things, not really anything large. I basically just wanted to clean it up, make it less busy, and give everyone a 4x4 grid to scroll. So from there, I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the Copilot example. So the goal was to have a full Copilot example and some other information out before the call today, but we ran into a couple things. I ran into a couple things. And so now I wanted to bring up Caleb. So he's going to kind of walk you through a little bit more. Sorry, I just realized I'm still sharing my screen. I saw you about to say it, Mason. I wanted to share a little bit about like kind of what his journey is and where he's at. So Caleb works a lot on plugins and basically managing all of our plugins that are going out. And so in this interim point, when we don't have a ton of documentation out, but we're trying to provide these examples, Caleb wanted to walk through and show you guys a little bit of how he consumes these endpoints inside of his locations, inside of the plugins, and how you could use those to understand things like the conversation stream, or to start creating basically your own chat GPT conversation inside of your local Copilot project. So anyways, I'll just pass it to Caleb if you just want to kind of take us through.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction, Jordan, and thank you for the compliments, Shabay. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, as Jordan said, I'm basically just going to be going into sort of like just the general flow of kind of how you use some of these endpoints that revolve around really the Copilot that we have. Really just starting off with the basics of, hey, how do I interact with Pieces OS in order to, you know, generate a conversation in a simple, you know, ChatGPT like flow. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing some code, which is basically the code that runs every day in many of our plugins. This is going to be straight from the package that we use in production. So yeah, definitely some great little tidbits that are in there, and a lot of like dense features that we can start to explore through this conversation. Let me just start streaming. Oh, it says I need permissions.
Oh yeah, you might have to leave and join the call back, but
Let me give me one more try.
all right, cool.
I think when I did it before, it was fake news. Like it let me do it.
Interesting. Yeah, you might need to go to security and privacy.
Okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, Jordan, do you have anything you want to go do?
Yeah, so inside of the new example project too, I wanted to talk about the desk buddy stuff, actually. Sorry, not the example project. I wanted to talk a little bit about the discussion boards and kind of like some of these other things that are going on. So I know that the discussion boards have kind of been in the background. They've been looming for a little bit. We've got a lot of different discussions going on there. But we kind of have picked one that we want to start going towards and exploring and seeing how we can understand the developer workflow without the entire aspect of necessarily saving snippets, and helping each of us figure out how we on our own machines can track ourselves, learn about ourselves, and help create less pitfalls when we're in our development process every day. So essentially creating like a desk buddy that can follow us around throughout our own days, give us helpful links as we come across new topics that maybe we don't understand, and our desk buddy knows that we haven't spent a lot of time researching, or something as simple as providing a related link about some information that I was asking a question about via Google. Just as if I was asking QGPT a question and I just wanted a response back and they found a better link. How can I create some more intricate returns? Things along those lines. So if you start to explore that repo, and there'll be updates to the README where that'll live as well too. But if you start to explore that repo, you'll see that there are issues already there. A lot of these aren't necessarily tagged good first issue. This project is kind of veering into a little bit more complicated, but what we need is planning right now. So go on these issues, find an issue that interests you, find a topic or a section or something that you know about, and start to share your information here. we're really starting to look into what it takes to plan and really lay out issues, tasks, step by step as a community so that we can not only build this project, but start to look at building other projects in the future around our Copilot, around other applications, however we would like to do that. So this is kind of like our winter project idea, but we'll continue to craft those thoughts together in public on the discussion board and inside of this repo. Looks like Caleb has returned. Did we get the screen share?
I think you might have tried and it failed again.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get permission. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
No
you're
worries.
totally fine. We all know the permission grind.
Oh yeah, I went through it. When I did the Jupyter talk, the first time that I tried to share, because I haven't used Zoom on this work computer, but the first time I tried to share, and you have to like close out completely. But luckily, they put me back in queue. So
See, when that happened to me, the first meetup we had, I did it, and then it told me no. It was like, you absolutely cannot. And so I just hit okay, and then I did it again, and it was like, you can share your screen now.
yeah,
So I don't really understand those permissions, but mine worked. So I'll take it. All right, let's see. What other things can we hit on while we're here? So the README, I would love to start adding more contributions. Like I want to add our contributors. Wow, I said that weird. So I'm going to start putting together like a contributors list where we can start to have everyone that wants to participate and add their name into the contributors list. We'll host that on the repo. You'll see that issue pop up. So if you catch it before it gets created, feel free to add yourself on the issue. If you don't, feel free to open up a PR, fork the repo, we'll get it up. Another thing too is we're starting to explore what it's going to take to get some of you that are contributing quite a bit added as like more collaborators a little bit closer, so you don't necessarily have to fork and then open up a P into our repo, and then I have to pull down your fork and then merge that into a note. We've all kind of been dealing with this a little bit here and there, so we'll have some more docs around the configuration with that over the next couple weeks. And one other thing too, just really quick, I wanted to talk about kind of this next 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of dedicated time from us here, not all of us, but from people here at Pieces, spending time over the winter break, kind of getting things together for the coming year and kind of planning out and working on side projects, those things. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the open source repo and working with you guys. So I have a lot of free time for one-on-one programming sessions. I have time for questions. I have time for ideas, thoughts around the SDK, any of that. So if there's any time that's needed, any questions that you guys have, now's a great time to share those out. Or any side projects that you need help with, or any contributions that you would like us to start looking into. Great time to share it. We have time for those things right now.
Yeah,
So
and just to kind of touch upon what Jordan mentioned, right? We really value like helping out developers who probably might be a bit scared from the number of APIs that are there. Of course, it's always because one of the things that Piece really helps out developers is with getting new developers onboarded to open source projects, or in general, like through software engineering, right? If you're working off from a new like if you're a new dev inside of your company, or even if you're contributing to like a friend's project, you can use the Copilot and get context about that particular repository or about a particular file. So of course, with that similar approach, that's what we are also kind of trying to approach this open source as well, to help all of you get onboarded easily and become core contributors to all of our SDKs and some of the sample projects that you'll be working with. So yeah, we'll be always open to any feedback and getting on calls with all of you, mentoring you to become contributors to our projects.
yeah, absolutely. Well said, Shuve. Absolutely. Always here to help learn, and always here to help educate. And I always say always here to help learn first, because we're also always learning constantly as we build and develop every day. We're learning how to craft these things with you. So yeah, don't ever feel like you don't have enough knowledge to get started on one of these good first issues. And that does bring up a good point too. If you do want to pull down the repo today before the Copilot comes out, there are notes that I merged into main before I go through and do cleaning today. that are notes around the Pythonistical update. So Pythonistical, I know that you've seen some of these, but anyone else that is a little bit new to the space, feel free to go in. If you just do Command-Shift-Find and look for the number 1 inside of parentheses, you can see step by step of comments that I've made as I made updates in the past, some to-dos that are in there that are going to come out as issues. If you want a little preview on some of the things that are coming, feel free to hop in there and take a look. I really suggest pulling that repo down today before some of these other changes come in, and more of that gets abstracted out and away, and it'll become more clean, but a little bit more disconnected. So it could be beneficial reading about it now. So yeah, I just want to touch on that. I think we're still trying to wait on Caleb.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can get in
Yeah,
here.
we can.
I do see Mark in here though.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, Mark's here. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Caleb's gonna borrow my my machine. He's having problems with his Discord app.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just let Caleb take it away.
All right, yeah. Let's go ahead and start sharing.
You can click it again. You got it.
Hopefully this one works. Looks like we are in business.
We're launching.
Business?
All right.
Cool.
Here I am. Where?
I just minus your screen so you're not.
Awesome.
All right, here we are. Here we are. We're in the Copilot. We're in the Copilot project. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys.
Yep, not able to see the screen. I think.
Yeah, Max says he can't see your screen either.
Me too. Yeah.
Try and unshare and reshare.
So this happens to be a common issue with Discord stages when you have like let's say more than 5-10 people. Sometimes it'll just randomly stop showing. It's very weird.
That
Been
is
there
super weird.
for ever long. Like it's been there since months.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's in the browser version of Discord right now as well. Let me just try sharing once more.
Okay,
I see that.
I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it works.
Can someone oh,
Or maybe
no,
not.
Sheree
Yeah.
says he can't.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's
Well,
very
that's too bad.
That's okay. We will
You want to do it on my computer? You can.
yeah.
You
Can
have
just hop
the
over?
repo cloned and everything?
What repo is it?
Copilot-TS.
Let me double check. Sorry, everyone. Thanks for your patience with us.
No
This
worries.
this is developer lifestyle right here, if I've
Yep.
ever seen it.
Probably maybe should have
Um,
tested.
You know, as
Yeah.
big as Discord is, this particular issue with sharing your screen on a Discord space, it has been there for a good 7, 8, 9 months now. I don't know why are they not solving these issues?
No.
So frustrating.
They need to open source their project so people can solve it for them.
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
But if we don't get this, no worries. We can kind of get into the ending segment.
Okay, I just cloned the repo, Caleb. What did you want to open it in? VS Code or IntelliJ?
Probably VS Code.
Okay, that's great. Give me one sec. Okay, Copilot TS. Okay, yeah, Caleb, if you want to come over here, I just pulled it down.
All right.
Okay, awesome. So it looks like we might be good to go.
Let's see.
Okay, now let me go to Discord, share my screen. The longest Copilot demo in history.
That's right.
Share screen. And let's see, you're in VS Code, right? I'll just share the whole screen.
Gotta share the whole screen and then pull up VS Code. Wherever it is. Here we go.
Cool.
All right, guys. Is it all looking a little bit better now?
Yes, looking great.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, like I said, we're just gonna go ahead and start just going over the just like the basics of how you interact with the Copilot. Ignore the red squigglies. We just need to do an npm install real quick.
Caleb, one quick thing. Could you just zoom in?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Then you should be good to go.
You can run npm install too if you want.
Yeah, it'll be okay. But yeah, so here you can see this function here, this AskQGPT function. So this is basically like where everything comes and goes as far as the interacting with the Copilot is. As a lot of you guys might know already, the way that we interact with Pieces OS in the backend is through basically a WebSocket. So that way we're able to like stream the tokens in. And then, yeah, so this is basically an example of, passing in, your query and basically just sending it to a few of our endpoints and basically just getting like this really powerful Copilot experience out of it. So yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of just like building a request here. You can see this relevance requests. Kind of like how our backend works is like whenever you want to use context, you have to first send it off to the relevance endpoint, and then basically the relevance endpoint is going to then basically figure out for you which pieces of content are going to be the most, I guess the word is applicable to the query that you inputted. This stuff can get pretty complicated, so we're going to go ahead and just focus on the second endpoint of the two endpoints, which is basically the interaction with the LLM itself, which is the question endpoint. And so we don't need to go deep into the context rabbit hole or anything like that. But yeah, so you can see here, I've built my stream input, and I'm just going to go ahead and immediately just command click into this stream input here, which I need to npm install, don't I? That is not. How do you open your terminal? Okay. Oh, that was pretty quick. I guess it was cached. And what was I looking for? I was looking for stream input. Okay, here we go. So yeah, here we are in our stream input data structure. And then basically, yeah, you'll see this like relevance here. Relevance again is going to be the endpoint that basically figures out what content is going to be relevant to your query. The stream is actually capable of performing both of those tasks, so the relevance task and the question task, in combination. So like you can save a little bit of code there and just kind of like make it easier for you. And you can see here, there's also this basically conversation string here. So this conversation string is basically the ID of your conversation. And yeah, it's exactly as it sounds. So this is how we're able to basically uniquely identify each conversation. This was a feature that was newly added when we added persistent conversations, I want to say about like a month or two ago. So yeah, if you wanted to basically have like a persistent conversation chat, then yeah, all you need to do is just pass in your conversation ID here, and all of the messages that get inputted and outputted are going to be attached to that conversation and saved by Pieces OS for you to come back to in the future. And yeah, so like I said, we're going to go into the question. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this question input here. And yeah, so relevant, we keep talking about relevant. So what relevant is in this case is it's basically just this is the output of relevance pretty much. So this is going to be the context that we utilize for RAG to basically ground the model, to basically give you results that are going to be highly relevant to basically what you're asking about, what your workflow is, etc. we have this query, which is again is a string. So this query here is going to be basically the exact prompt that you have for the model. And then yeah, here's another big key here is you're also able to pass in a model ID. So this is kind of getting closer into how you're able to basically invoke a specific model through this streaming endpoint. And which kind of leads me to another thing of going over to the model progress controller, which this is basically the quote unquote WebSocket controller that basically is able to determine like which models you have downloaded, which ones are installed. And this is also a big helper in like, you know, basically getting the ID of a specific model. So that is one other thing we wanted to show is basically how do you basically find which model that you're basically going to be using. And yeah, this is like a kind of okay way of doing it. I guess we'll go here, go connect. Maybe this is the wrong place for this. I believe it would be in here. So in our modal class over here. Just trying to find the spots. Yeah, so here you go. So you can see I'm basically, this is me just like rendering some of the models for you to use. And you can see I'm basically like, I take this model snapshot, which is going to be which is up here. So yeah, I basically take this model snapshot here, and then this is going to give me the information about all of the different models that we have downloaded, or all the models available through Pieces OS. And then given this model snapshot, you basically run some filters based off of the foundation, which I'll just click in here. So these are all just the types. So here's our model. And you can see each model is going to have its own foundation. And if you click into this model foundation enum, this is where you're going to start seeing, okay, so it's either a GPT-3.5 or a GPT-4 or a Llama 2, 7 billion parameters, etc. So yeah, given this model snapshot, you're going to get a list of models out. And then for each model, you basically look at, the model foundation, and then you find the model with the model foundation that you want. And then basically, you're able to get the ID from that specific model. And then as I mentioned before, you're able to also pass that ID with the question input in order to invoke that specific model. And it's kind of hard to show in like a quick demo like this, but definitely we're going to have some really good code examples that you can go online on GitHub and look and learn from basically how we do these things. And with time, it'll definitely become like kind of second nature, really just getting used to like these patterns of how we operate using Pieces OS. And then yeah, so like one other thing, I know there's a couple other things. I know I also mentioned, like conversations. So I'll go ahead and open up like the conversation stream controller. So this is basically how we get all of your conversations in real time. It's through a stream. Basically, you open up a stream. It's going to give you all of your conversation IDs that I was mentioning earlier. And then, using those conversation IDs, you can do any number of things that you could possibly want to do with a conversation. You can fetch the messages, you can add context to it, etc. But yeah, so anytime that even if you get an update on a conversation, so like one big thing that we spend a lot of time working on is, if you have conversations open in different apps at the same time, like you want to be able to be chatting with a conversation and then open it back up in the new app and then have the same exact conversation there without even having to like click any buttons. or do anything like that. So basically the stream is able to power a lot of that stuff, where each time a conversation gets an update, each time, you know, you make a new message with a conversation, you're basically going to get a new WebSocket event through this conversation stream event. So at a very basic level, that's pretty much how we interact with the conversations data layer of Pieces OS. And once again, you know, I can't really go super deep into everything and how it all works, but we will have some excellent examples coming out today. Right?
Yeah. The goal is we'll have some of these streaming examples by the end of the day, and then continue. There'll be more updates throughout like the rest of the year that I'll be working on that will kind of help facilitate some of this, and you know,
Absolutely.
We'll keep getting Caleb's help with these things too as the in-house expert.
That's right. And then the only other thing I wanted to really hit home on is basically what does it look, what kind of data does the socket give you? So we're back to the QGBT stream socket here. So this is going to be once again the socket that you use to basically invoke the LLM through Pieces OS. And kind of what I wanted to do is just go back over the output model. So we went over the input model, and now I would like to go over the output model. So we go QGBT stream output. As you can see, well, there's relevance here. So like if you used relevance, this is going to be the property that is going to be the relevant snippets. Again, it's going to give you a conversation. So if you don't pass in a conversation to this QGBT stream endpoint, it'll actually just create a conversation for you automatically, which is pretty nice. It can enable a lot of things there. There's this status here. This status is basically going to tell you a bunch of stuff about, you know, the status of your message, whether or not the message is completed, the message is failed, because these are just different pieces of data that you're going to need basically while using this, because you know, interacting with the WebSocket, it's like, okay, how do I know when the question is completed? Well, you know when you get a completed result from the QGBT stream. And then yeah, kind of just going back into like the question output model. This is going to be the same deal as it is if you were going to interact with like an HTTP endpoint of this version. So yeah, this is the question output. So this is basically where you're going to get the output of the LLM in this little answers field here. Iterable, and yeah, just text. So yeah, just the text that is contained within one of these QGBT question answers is exactly what the output of the model is. So hopefully that wasn't too overwhelming. I know we had some difficulties, which I definitely apologize about. Next time I screen share on Discord, I'll make sure that I have the proper permissions, and it'll actually let me do my job correctly. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that I wanted to go over, revolving around the Copilot backend processes, the data layer, so to speak, of like basically how, as a front-end developer, as a consumer, you can go and you can use all of these things. You can use the conversation stream to get all your conversations. You can use the question stream to interact with the models, and you can use the model's API as well as the model download progress stream to not only choose a different model that you would like to use throughout the Copilot, or even download a local model, and also have a nice experience of like showing people basically the progress of a download. But yeah, I guess I'll just hand it back to Jordan. But yeah, thanks guys. Again, thank you very much for being patient with us. We're definitely here to improve, for sure.
Oh yeah, we're figuring it out 1 week at a time, but hey, it wouldn't be open source if we weren't figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me stop sharing my screen, get back
Thank
in
you,
here.
Caleb. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much, Caleb.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So there's like a pretty in-depth, I can't say words today, pretty in-depth version of how to use these QGPT endpoints, how to manipulate your conversations, and some other things that you can start to scout out that you can do with those conversations once you start getting into actually generating those streams and listening to that data coming back. So yeah, please share with us as you start to explore what these look like. Again, just to iterate on the power of the command click right now, it's going to be huge for your development process as we start to really get the rest of these docs laid out and presented for you. We're trying to be very calculated on not putting all the docs out and having too many docs and not sure where things are. Like, we want to make sure we give you guys good information on how to use these. And if you have specific questions on endpoints, ping the chat. We'll get you what we can as quickly as we can and try and help get you booted up on your project. With that being said, we do have a couple minutes if there are any questions. I see that this whole time the chat's been going on. There's been questions being asked there. Thanks, huge thanks for everyone on the team that's on the chat in the call that is answering these questions. Mason moderating. See Max in here. Caleb, you just saw Caleb. But yeah, huge shout out to everyone that's here right now. Thanks for supporting and helping with the chat and just helping foster the community. I don't know if anyone has any closing thoughts, any last words, anything that we didn't bring up, but we'll just give a second here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. We'll get this video out to you guys on YouTube so that you can send it to anyone that missed it. They need the updates. And last thing, keep an eye out for that Copilot example coming today. You're going to have your own Copilot. All right.
Awesome. Thanks for everyone joining. This is awesome. Hopefully, we will continue building this community over time, and we're really excited for the new year. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a blast. Yeah, great to see everyone. Everyone have a good rest of your day. And so Sophia, hit me. What you got, Sophia?
Yeah. All right. Sorry. So just before we go, on the TypeScript, the example TypeScript repo, I would really love it if we all star the repo. I believe that would really help us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that we can, and it'll help with notifications and things primarily. That's like a big thing is being able to keep everyone up to date with what's going on. And inside your email, I find that really easy to follow too. So I do recommend that. But do what you got to do. You can watch it as well too. That's a great alternative. You can watch the repo. There's lots of different ways to keep up to date. So follow us where you can. If you can't, it's okay. We'll see you in the Discord. But thanks for sharing that, Sophia. It's a good point. Keep your eye on the repo. And especially the open source top level repo too. We're going to try and move things there. So you kind of saw how early in the chat, that was my jumping off point. We're going to try and do the same thing and present that for all of you. So you can always go to open source to navigate to a good first issue or the issue that you're previously working on tracked there somewhere. So anyways, that'll be it. We're closing it up. Great meeting open source. You guys all have a great rest of your week. And we'll be in touch over the break. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank
awesome.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.